Hey all, Cypher, and welcome back to our DISLYTE video. So, are you all ready for DISLYTE 2.0? Because it definitely seems that the game is taking a total U-turn on like many different levels, honestly. So this is going to be the first part of my video, of my coverage of the changes which are announced. I think it was announced like 5 hours ago, so it's pretty recent. And honestly, it's already creating waves in the community, and I'll address both the positives as well as the negatives, which I truly think, in my opinion, some of these are pretty negative, but we'll get to that in a later bit. So first of all, we have the Esper balance adjustments. So these are basically balance changes which I think routinely happen with almost like a second patch, or like almost with every patch. So these are not overly huge, but some of them are pretty decent, honestly. But we'll get to the more juicier part in the next video, which is going to be regarding the resonance changes. So stay tuned for that. Sorry if I will not be able to upload 2 consecutive videos. I have very limited time currently, so hopefully you guys will understand. There are a lot of good content creators, honestly, which are going to be covering this. I think I've already seen videos from Daddy F2P, maybe even Kobe will upload. There's Zoxascon. There's a lot of good content creators. I'm just like naming some which are like on my tip of the mouth. So let's see. The first Esper is gonna be Cecilia Isis. Honestly, I think she's great as it is. I think she's decent. Like, I'm not gonna say she's overpowered, like OP, like some of the other Shimmer Espers, like Jiang Jiuli, or maybe even Unis to to an extent. But she's decent. She has a spot in the meta. But let's see what it changes. So her second skill, which is her revive stuff, is going to be changing to an active skill. Revives and heals all fallen allies. Healing is 15% of allies max HP. Grants them 30% AP. Each revived ally extends this ability's cooldown. Alright, this is pretty interesting. So if you decide to actively use, many people actually, I think this is a good change, because many people, what they used to do, they would easily target and kill Cecilia first. Or cleave teams, cleave teams will just outspeed you. So even if you revive your allies, AB push was not enough to really change the pace of the game. So now it's an active skill, which is pretty decent, honestly. The passive skill, the passiveness of like when Cecilia dies, she'll remain revive all allies. That part still stays, guys. That part still stays, because it stays right. It stays right here after Ascension. If this ability is not in cooldown when Isis dies, it will be automatically cast. So I mean, it stays for itself, right? Alright, so let's see. Sienna is getting changed. That's pretty interesting. I think honestly she was decent. So she does the same attack. She clears enemies AP. Okay, so they're changing the... Alright, that's pretty nice. So they're giving her 100% chance to stun now, instead of only 60% chance. Which honestly makes her much more broken. I mean, not even broken, but I mean, she fits her meta much better, because earlier there was a chance that you would not stun, and there were basically 2 types of resist checks. So now giving her 100% chance negates the resist check on stunning, if you have enough accuracy, of course, and the enemy does not have like resistance. Alright, let's see her. Alright, nothing is changing every day. Oh, wait, they reduced the cooldown as well. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty nice, actually. Not nice in PvP. Honestly, I don't think PvP matches, if you're using particularly her in a cleave team, lasting for another rotation of this skill is honestly, it means that you have a pretty shit cleave team, honestly, if you're gonna wait like 5 turns. But I think it's pretty great for PvE, because I personally use her in I think I use her in Desolate Lands, so that's pretty decent. Alright, coming to Sif, Sally. Guys, Sally is such an amazing PvE hero, and I like the fact that she's still untouched, because I think she served her job well. She's not meant to be a PvP hero, I don't think she is, at least. But let's see what her changes are. Dispels all debuffs from all allies, redistributes HP, grants attack. Okay, only thing that is getting changed is that she's going to be granting this recovery buff as well to all allies. Again, pretty decent change for PvE. Makes her a better hero overall. Gabriel. Alright, Gabriel. Guys, I was actually interested in Gabriel because my clubmate, he actually told me that this Gabriel is not gonna be pretty reasonable to use in Fafnir now, because her basic attack is now double hitter. which is amazing. The sad part is the damage is getting reduced. So it's gonna go to 0.23% of attack. But then again, it's a double hit, so maybe I think it's increased because it's like essentially doubling, right? Because it's per hit. Pretty sure it's per hit. So I don't think there's much changes here. Her third ability attacks all enemies 3 times. Total damage 105% of attack. Each hit inflicts attack down for 2 turns and defense up to allies. Images is basically the same, guys, but it's actually better because not only is it now viable for Fafnir, but now you have triple chances to inflict the attack down debuff, which is insane, honestly. Alright, so I think Gabriel, overall, I think now they just made her more viable for Fafnir. I don't see any other point of this. Alright, let's see Brewster's changes. His third ability is getting changed. The real attack, alright, that's the buff which he gets. The next attack transfers 1 debuff to the enemy and restores Brewster's HP. Oh. Alright, so now it transfers debuffs. Interesting. I think the rest of the skill is pretty much the same, right? Yeah, plus 6% AP per stack, 6 stacks. Yeah, the rest of the changes are pretty same. So the only thing that is getting changed is that now he transfers 1 debuff from himself to the enemy. I think it's from himself, right? I don't think it's like from the ally who's gonna attack. Pretty sure, yeah, I think it's from him. So, I don't know how good this is. I think it's pretty. I think it's just a good add-on. I don't think it's gonna make or break him. But yeah, next up is gonna be Clara. So Clara is actually getting a buff, a huge buff, because now she's gonna be able to heal 2 allies, and the prioritization will remain the same with the lowest HP percentage, and the healing amount is also gonna be same. But on the negative side, now she's gonna hit only 1 time, right? Because earlier used to hit double times. Yeah, so that's the only change which is happening to Clara. Lewis, Ares. So Lewis is a pretty underrated champion, honestly. I don't think he's used much. I think only he's used in like certain team compositions which might like one-shot you. Like I think he's decent against Hyde, honestly. And I especially use my Lewis against Hyde in Club Wars. But overall, I think he lacks a bit of creativity. So let's see what his changes, what's going to be happening to him. His second skill gains crit rate up, attacks 1 enemy. The damage is also same. Alright, so now they only added another Seer debuff to his second skill. I think the rest of it remains the same. Let's see his third skill. The third skill, guys, now this is pretty awkward to say, but I think Lewis is gonna be one of the best single target DPS now, because now he's gonna get invincibility, which means he will not take any damage. That's pretty broken, honestly. I think now he's gonna rival the likes of maybe Ophelia, but like definitely he's gonna be one of the top tier like Inferno, Shimmer, Inferno Espers, especially single target. But yeah, the rest of his abilities, I mean, you get reduced ability cooldowns as well, so you can potentially cycle your second and third skill decently. But yeah, overall, I think decent changes, honestly, decent changes. Because the Seer debuff, it will just mean that if you do not finish the target, and you potentially land the Seer the next turn you get, because of course you're gonna build him with like very high crit rate. So when you get another turn, you can potentially finish off the target, right? And like you can potentially one-shot any hero if you build your Lewis right. Except maybe, of course, stuff like Jiang Julie, maybe even Hyde, because Hyde has that respawn shit. So yeah, we'll see. Nessie Dora, interesting. Now her second skill is getting changed where she will inflict stun on her target when she detonates her Pandora's box. So now she will also stun the target. Pretty decent. I think honestly, Anesidora hits pretty hard. Like I think many people sleep on her, but I think she does decent damage. Alright, let's see the third skill. Grants all allies speed up for 2 turns and inflicts Pandora's box on all enemies for 2 turns. After an enemy takes action, HP minus 30% and inflicts speed down for 2 turns. Not applicable to bosses, gains an additional turn. So this is pretty interesting. So whenever an enemy takes action, they take 30% of the HP is gone? Is it like an HP reduction like Hyde has? Or is it something different? I'm pretty sure this is gonna be something pretty similar to Hyde, but I mean that's pretty broken, right? I think it's supposed to be like when the enemies have the Pandora's box debuff and then they take a turn, maybe then they get like 30% HP taken from them. But you know, if it's for like usual stuff, I think honestly that's pretty broken. Like what? Like when anybody moves, she just takes out 30% HP and inflicts speed down for 2 turns. I don't think that's worded right, guys, because if that is, I think there's a lot of testing to be done. I will potentially test her for sure. I mean, this skill, it reads pretty sus to me. Let's see, Sandra. Like guys, Sandra is his buff is pretty massive, especially for free-to-play players and for players who are doing the Chronos. But actually, I'm not sure if because Chronos is not gonna be the same as it was. It's gonna be changed completely differently. It will not rely on reducing his AP. But still, I think the buff is pretty insane. So instead of the triple hits, Sanders is now getting a one-time execution type of skill. Each speed grants the extra damage percentage, guys. This is increased. It's essentially tripled. All right. But then again, if you take into account, it used to hit 3 times, and it used to be 0.33%. Now it's a flat 1% of attack. So I don't think it's really that massive. But then you see each hit has a 50% chance of reducing the enemy's AP by 30%. Now it has a 100% chance of reducing the enemy by 60%. So I think I'll just take 100% any day. Like there has been so many instances when Chronos resists my Sandra's third ability. And my Sandra is pretty decent, guys. It's built like, I think it's probably 100% accuracy. It has decent speed. You know, so resist check is pretty massive, guys. Because Chrono 16 as it is, I think it has close to 100% resistance. And having 100% accuracy in old Chronos would really make Sandra's more broken. But then again, you know, now it's changed. Now Chronos is getting changed, so we'll have to see. I think this is pretty decent as well, because now it's like it flicks stun for 1 turn as well. And earlier it used to be only the 3rd hit, which used to stun. So then there was like, again, you know, a lot of like resist checks. Let's see, Dahlia. Dahlia is getting nerfed, guys. Dahlia is getting nerfed. I'll just outright say it because I already read this this balance adjustment. Her cooldowns are getting increased. That's it, flat out. Her cooldowns are getting increased from 2 turns to 3 turns, but only on her second ability. Her third ability, which is like potentially the bread and butter of Dahlia, it still remains the same. Nothing has changed, so you know, doesn't really matter. Zhao Yin, guys. Zhao Yin, the forgotten champion, the forgotten stealth champion. I think he was considered quite OP when they first like previewed him. And now you really don't see him much, I think, except like in very niche team compositions, like where you have stuff like Ollie and stuff, because you know he's pretty easy to counter. Honestly, he's so much susceptible to AOE damage. He does not have something like Hyde has, where you know you can respawn, you're immune to death like for the first time you killed. Let's see now. Let's see his changes. His first skill, instead of dealing extra damage, now he gets a speed buff. Honestly, I think that's a bit of a nerf. I'll take the extra damage because he's supposed to be damage dealer. Like speed up buff, like I get it. It might be useful, but you can get that from like other heroes, right? I don't think speed was a problem here, honestly. Especially because there's no use of building him on speed. He does not get extra damage from building speed on him, like something like what Li Guang does. I think I'm spelling her right. Li Guang gets extra damage from speed. Even Sanders gets extra damage from speed. He does not get any extra damage from speed, so there's no use of building him with speed. His second skill actually inflicts speed down on enemies for 2 turns now, and it's a triple hitter, so there's a decent chance he will land this debuff. After attacking, he will extend his own stealth by 1 turn. When in stealth, I think the rest of the wording stays remains same, except now he will extend his stealth, so he will no longer get 30% AP push when his stealth used to end. I mean, that was the main criteria. That was the main criteria of actually like where he was low-key viable, because when he would instantly get with like a hit, like an AoE hit, he would end his stealth, and then he will instantly get like 30% AP push. But now, while in stealth, he deals extra damage. I mean, which remains the same. He used to do that earlier as well. But now he deals 10% of the steals 10% of the target's AP. And this is so underwhelming, honestly. This is pretty underwhelming because yes, this can help him because he has ultimate hits 4 times, but that's a single enemy, and you know, you didn't have to like consider the accuracy checks, the resist checks, and everything, and stealing only 10%, so potentially 40% of the AP of the enemy doesn't really like pronounce overpowered or broken. I think he's potentially the same as he was. I don't think he's changed much, but his ultimate is again a bit changed because now each hit has a 50% chance of inflicting minus 20% AP. So that's innate guys, right? Yeah, that's innate. Oh wait, my bad. So this one was like only limited to his second skill, which is a triple hitter. Man, that's even worse. I read that as if it was a passive. My bad, guys. My bad. So yeah, it doesn't really it doesn't spell confidence for me in this hero, honestly. Lynn, I don't want to cover Lynn. I think she's dog shit. She's just a PvE hero, honestly. I don't care about her as much. Alexa, honestly, her changes are pretty niche as well. Like, I think she's built for being a PvP hero, but she fails to do so because she does not have a cleanse. She's not very fast. She does not bring any potential good debuffs or buffs. She has only the Kiss of the Nightingale shit, but you know, it's pretty meh, honestly. Meredith, again, garbage. Jawser. Jawser is interesting from the beginning, but he turned out to be such a disappointment, honestly. He was one of the biggest disappointments in DISLYTE for me. I just don't want to go through it again, but let's just read his skills once more. His multipliers are remaining the same, but now he disposed 1 debuff. Alright, so instead of inflicting the defense down, which is pretty garbage, honestly 60% chance, and you do not build a shred of accuracy on Jawser, so majority of the time he did not like land this. So I think this is pretty decent now, so he has a way of getting out if like enemies try to CC him. Pretty decent, honestly. His second skill, while Bull Rage is active, attacks will inflict diseased for 2 turns. Can't be resisted. Then his Ascension, he gains 1 stack of Bull Rage per attack. I mean, it's pretty garbage. What? Like earlier he used to increase his own defense and resistance by like 50%. But this is just straight up garbage. I don't know. Inflict disease for 2 turns? What? Like, disease is such a dog shit debuff. Especially for PvP, I think this is where he was used the most. If even he was used, I don't think he was used much often, honestly. Man. Alright, this is a disappointment. This right here. Nah, man, I'm not gonna even read that further. Laura, I think Laura's buffs are pretty decent, honestly. I did go through her buffs a little bit. So her second skill is getting changed, where after an ally takes action, grants them shield for 1 turn. The shield strength is gonna be a huge buff because it's gonna be 10% of her own HP, which is pretty decent. After Ascension, when the shield is broken and dispelled, now she has a 50% chance to counterattack. I mean, that's pretty low, but you know, I'll take 50% from 30% any day. You know, being a gacha player, I know the difference between probabilities, and this is pretty huge, guys. Her third ability is actually getting much better, because now the shield that she's going to be providing is going to be based off her own HP. Earlier it used to be 25% of allies max HP, now it's going to be her own max HP, so of course you're going to build her with a huge health pool, so she's going to give a much stronger shields. If the ally has, I mean, this remains the same. And that's that, guys, that's that. We have finished the balance adjustments, which are going to be taking place with patch 3.1.7. These are again some buffs to espers like base stats. Nothing really notable here except like maybe this one, the base speed of Louise getting buffed. I think even Sally is getting buffed as well. like in terms of base speed, and there's a lot of attack and HP changes. I think Tricky is getting nerfed in terms of base stats, but his attack is getting buffed. Interesting changes, honestly. I think the true winners out of here is definitely Lewis, Dora. I won't say Booster, I don't think it's a big change. Gabriel, definitely Gabriel as well. Sally, again, minor victory. I mean, she was already decent as she was for where people use her in Tower, in Ritual Miracles, Sonic Miracles, and all that good stuff. Sienna, honestly, yeah, it's a big win for her because, you know, the extra percentage and the cooldown reduction, pretty big win. Cecilia, another big win because now you have an option to trigger her ability into an active ability. You know, opens up more ways to potentially play with her. I think even there's one more. Let's see, where was? Yeah, Laura. Literally the last one, Laura. And that's all the coverage, guys, for today's balance adjustments. This is gonna be a second video where I will not go through the whole insane list of the resonance changes that are going to be coming with the next patch, but I will try to break down some of my personal favorites, and we'll just discuss more about, you know, the resonance changes in the next video. So yeah, hope you guys are having a great day. Peace out.